All right. I am live again. Zoom is tripping over there, over there. So I am live straight through YouTube right now. And I'm not using any third party software right now. Again, hello, everybody. Top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the night, whatever time zone you are on. I am live really quick again, just to say Zoom is tripping. They tweaking, and that's the what I choose to use, showing my um, information via third party. But no worries, because what we're going to do is we are going to, well, I need to delete all of this mess right here. I will be getting with Zoom and tomorrow, and I've had to do this before because they were also a little laggy on my end in terms of Zoom. All that lag and all that buffering in the background that you may not have seen on your side, I can see it on my end. And so, what I'm going to do is tomorrow I need to get with Zoom. We need to work that out. Hey, Lee, we're going to have to work that out. This right here is good old fashioned straight YouTube. What options do YouTube have on here? None. No options on YouTube. Google, by the way, is being sued. Again, the third party software that I choose to use is Zoom. Uh, Zoom is having I'm having some issues with Zoom tonight. And what I didn't do is to see if they had any outages or if they were down in my area, because sometimes they'll be down in a region or a certain area, and that will create issues. And I didn't check to see that. But at any rate, it's a host of information for us to get through. And you all know I have a PowerPoint pulled up. Like I said, I don't use any other third party software. I've used OBS years ago. I've used Lightstream. I've used Blue Jean. I've used a lot of different software out there, third party software. But like I said, I'm paying for Zoom. So, hey, John. John, you know I've used StreamYard too. You know how I feel about StreamYard. You're right, John. I could go back to StreamYard, but you know the way I feel about StreamYard. Yeah, StreamYard. I can come on and stream with StreamYard, but you know I'll be tripping when StreamYard that little delay, extra delay and lag time of StreamYard, even though StreamYard works, John, and you're absolutely right. StreamYard does work, and I have used them before. Fairly easy user interface and different things like that. I don't want to keep starting and stopping. So tonight, this is directly from YouTube. And you know, Zoom, I got my whiteboard. Now, it's one more that I am waiting for to get out the beta testing phase, and that will be an app called mmhmm. So if you've heard of the app called mmhmm and you've been privileged to beta test the app, hey, Dark and Lovely. Again, the app is called mmhmm. And that mmhmm app is From what I've seen so far, it is absolutely great. Again, one of Microsoft software programmers created the app, and it's still in the beta testing phase. It's going to be compatible against all software. It's going to be compatible with Apple, um, Google, Microsoft, any type of software. So they're still in the beta testing phase. And the thing about is from what I've seen so far is absolutely, it's going to be, once comes out for the public to use, everybody going to be jumping ship to go straight to The thing about is it allows you to be transparent. It's going to be free. You can do, you can move yourself anywhere you want to on the screen. You can put yourself in front of the information and back of the information. Who, it ain't safe, Mac? What ain't safe? John, I don't have my Ethernet hooked up directly to my laptop. No, I'm 100% wire. I'm right now. I'm 100% Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is what I pay for, and Wi-Fi is what I'm using right now. Again, with Zoom, that's issues on Zoom side, and I've had issues with Zoom before. So usually when it's my wireless connection, I know I can run the test, the Wi-Fi test, and tell you just about what's going on with that. Mac, you said Well, Mac, I want to talk a little bit about the guy who created the software developer who has worked for Windows for years. So as a programmer or developer, what he developed was OneNote. So when you log on to Microsoft and you see OneNote, well, he's the one that created that software program called OneNote. And when I say is going to be the software, the third-party software to use in terms of live streaming with, it is all of that plus some. It is all of that plus some. It lets you divide your screen. Like I said, you don't even need the green screen in the background. It's going to be the bomb. But like I said, I'm streaming directly through YouTube right now because Zoom having some issues in my region tonight. So we have a lot of information to get to. Plus, we got to finish up Obama versus Trump not being the same. We got to get to that third knockout round. Now, in this information, tonight I have a lot of info to share. I had a lot of info to share. Hey, I had a lot of info to share. So, again, I'm straight using YouTube, not a third party platform enabled. Tonight, I'm just straight on YouTube. Like, John is like, go to StreamYard, Carissa, go back to StreamYard. I'm like, no, bro. No, bro. I don't want to do it. So, again, when I edit this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link for you all to go. Yeah, Letha, for you all to go check out the app, John, especially you, John. You're going to love it. Oh, good night, Lovely, dark and lovely. When I drop this link to if you ever stream live, for people who like to stream live or have channels and go live with, or even if you're doing presentation, you are really going to, you're gonna like you really are. And again, I'm not being paid, I'm not monetized. This is not me plugging Microsoft formal programmers or anything like that. This is me talking about a good software program that will be coming out to the general public once they're finished with their beta testing phase, which is going to make OBS look crazy. It's going to make StreamYard look crazy. It's going to make basically all of the third-party software out here that you utilize when you're streaming live look crazy. As far as I can see so far, it's just made everything look kind of silly right now. And again, the name of that software is called mmhmm. And again, I'm going to drop the link below. I could be dropping a link now, but I'm using, my hands are free. Usually I like to be doing a lot of extra typing and stuff in the background. Oh, thank you, Letha. Oh, you talking to John. Okay, John. Letha said she enjoyed your last live. Again, John, Mac, Dark and Lovely, Letha, people in the bushes, hello. Again, having some Zoom issues, and I've had issues with Zoom before, so this is not new for people who have watched me stream for years. You know, me and Zoom and I, let me use the correct grammar. Zoom and I have had our issues. But tonight they was having a little bit too many issues for me. Oh, thank you, Letha. Again, we got a lot of updates to get to. One of the updates that I'm gonna tell you right now is the Clipper man. I had him in the other title, who was sentenced to life in prison in Louisiana. Well, he's been granted parole. Okay. So that's in a good news section. Okay. Trump administration, for people who hadn't been paying attention, remember months back we talked about the Trump administration going after people who get SNAP or food benefits, and they were trying to cut people off. Well, that was blocked by a judge, so those people can continue to get their extra food benefits because the judge said we're in a pandemic and people are not working. Stop playing. So that was in the good news section. And there's some other things that I had in a good news section. You're going to have to wait and see what the good news sections are. Those are two. Also, Nancy Pelosi, Steve Mnuchin, and they're still going back and forth on the second stimulus package. As they've been going back and forth, Nancy Pelosi gave them into tomorrow. That's her deadline. And so we'll see what the Senate and the House does. Because remember, back in May, the House passed the HEROES Act, which would have given everybody who got $1,200 the first time an additional $1,200, and it would have given people who had kids more. I think it was, what was it, going up to like $600 and up per child. And they also were allowing you to claim any independent versus not claiming dependents of a certain age, like if they were 18, 17, and all this other stuff like they had in the Careless Act, you couldn't claim. Well, this was written a little differently in the HEROES Act. So Tuesday or Wednesday. We will see how that go. And I'm not holding my breath on that one. They're supposed to be voting. Um, Also, so we have that going on. We're watching for that. Um, like I said, I wanted to get through all of these updates tonight. Um, and we'll get to them definitely tomorrow because usually uh, when I do my what I like to call mean live chat with Zoom, they seem to quickly resolve whatever issue I have. So tomorrow morning, I will be doing my mean live chat with Zoom. That's what I call it. Um, so they can resolve these issues. All right. Yeah, Mac, it was a petty theft. Letha, 3 times and you're out. No. Oh, Boss Blake. Oh, okay. Thanks, Boss and John. Hmm. Also, I'm gonna get to the Attorney General Cameron, Kentucky Attorney General, who acting a stone cold fool. Let me pull this up on another device and do like the ones who don't believe in using third party streaming software be doing. Let me pull this up. Attorney General Cameron is acting a stone cold fool. The judge said he had to turn over that information for the public. All right. Attorney General Cameron refuses to listen to judge. So, what the Attorney General, and this is relating to the Breonna Taylor case, um, the judge said relinquish that evidence. He didn't want to do it. He also filed a motion continuously silence the grand jurors, even out through their attorneys anonymously. Well, on Tuesday, a judge granted the jurors' request to speak publicly about the case. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron presented to the grand jury, because what the grand jury are saying, it like they said before, he did not even present them with the option to charge the officers with murder or anything like that. And they said that they felt like he was putting the blame on them when it was not them. It was what he did not present, which was all of the evidence for this Breonna Taylor case. Attorney General Cameron talking about Hankerson has been getting death threats, all this other stuff, where Breonna Taylor is dead. So it's a little, how did I need to do it? I had to go for that on Wave News. How you doing it this way? Okay, and this just posted. Again, I like to have a whole screen to share with people and not be showing stuff off of like this. This I need my tools and my gadgets. This reading and then telling people, look at the that ain't my flaw. That's not my stilo. Other people can roll that way That's not the way Kerensz like to roll. Letha, you say he's scared for lying? What he's scared for? Lying? Well, he already lied, so he already lied. So, um, what he's protecting is himself. And more jurors want to speak. They said what he will not do is come in and lie on them and lie on their name and lie about this case and lie about what he did not present and what he did present. That's what he won't do. Because the grand jurors are saying they really wanted justice for then the option to charge any of the officers with murder. What you won't do is come out and make it seem like the officers are not guilty. So we're going to get to that in the up. Like I said, we have a lot of updates. We have global updates. Alaska had an earthquake, 7.5 magnitude higher. The alarm went off. We got to get to Russia and China. It's just a lot we have to get to. So I'm just reading the chat right now. I got the chat pulled up on the side. So again, I will be getting with Zoom tomorrow. I will be texting them as soon as they are available. And doing what I call my mean text. Also, Google is being sued by the Department of Justice. They have filed a lawsuit against Google, and I definitely want to get off into that. We'll see how they go. Don't be evil, Google. We'll see how it goes. But it's looking a little bit weak in terms of the Justice Department substantiating their claim. It's looking a little weak. Again, I just want to say this to everybody before I get off. Be sure to vote. Early voting has jumped 400%. Early voting is up 400%. Let me type that. I can at least put that in. Early voting is up. So early voting is up. That's right. Early voting is up 400%. Now, in Michigan, 2.1 million people requested absentee ballots. Of that, so far, they've gotten back. Now, this was days ago. I'm sure they have more back since then. I'm talking about calculated, tabulated, counted over 500,000. So 2.1 million people requested absentee ballots. It seems like they're rolling out that deadline, extending that deadline on people to get their absentee ballots in because of the way things have been going. So, Mac, you say you don't trust the law enforcement or the courts. Well, the lower courts have been stacked since Donald Trump has been in there. That's what I think when people come out and talk and they say things, see, that's why I say round 3, Obama versus Trump on that knockout round. I'm going to run back the facts that the lower courts have been stacked with all Caucasian males, predominantly males. who are racist. Lower court stacked. So when I heard them coming out there and Republican talking points talking about stacking the deck, forget that dumb stuff. The deck already been stacked as lower courts, lower level, since Trump been in office. So we gonna forget that foolishness. All right. So right, Mac, and you know, and I know you paying attention to it. He didn't already done that. And so when I get to that Trump versus Obama, I'm just going to have to walk through there. It's going to be the knockout round. And like I said, Trump has not created a bit of legislation. So I want to hear no people coming out lying about that, because that's just a lie. Also, in terms of Joe Biden versus Ice Cube versus Trump's, for the African American people, Black Platinum Plan. Excuse me, Trump Platinum Plan. What was that? 2 pages. And then when you start really going through and simplifying, it's what? 1 page? 1 page still? 1 page of what? Boo-boo. Mess is what I call it. Straight up, flat out mess. Now, again, Joe Biden, because like I said, we take the good, the bad, and the ugly. Joe Biden released his plan back in May. Ice Cube plan came out after Joe Biden's plan. Okay. A little bit, after June. Fine. But we did a comparison and contrast and side by side over here. And that's the video that YouTube took down of the plans. Now, we're going to throw Trump plan in there after we finish Obama versus Trump. And this is what I need voters to know. Now, I've heard ADOS, I've heard other African-American people who are supposed to be woke and conscious. Here's the thing. And we say it over here all the time. I don't care what you're talking about. See, this is when we get into the no nonsense and we don't do foolishness. I don't care what you're talking about. The fact of the matter is, if you don't have a House and you don't have the Senate, you're not getting ready to move any Black agenda through, because it takes the House and the Senate. They're the ones that pass the bills and move them through. Now, we already knew for years we had a Senate. And when they did get the Senate under President Obama, they only had it for 2 years. And I need people to remember that it was some Democrats who was anti-President Obama when they did get it. So let's be real clear about that too. Now, all this foolishness that's been going on has been under Mitch McConnell's watch. Every bill that's been blocked, he's been doing it. The judges that didn't get confirmed under President Obama, he did that. So when people out here talking, listen, no Black agenda is getting pushed through before you vote. Forget it. See, I'm going to go there on that psychology and that philosophy and all that psychological poppycock alleged woke Black people be pushing out. No, you knew good and well that. Read my lips. No Black agenda was going to be voted on or moved through at a federal level when you don't have a House or the Senate together. And when you get the House and the Senate, you better have some people up there in position who's going to move that legislation and pass it through. See, I hear a bunch of foolishness, and I've sat up and watched people sit up and attack President Obama and attack this one and attack the Democrats and attack this and that. But what I haven't seen is a strategy and a plan of action. And when I say a strategy and a plan of action, I'm talking about a fluid strategy and a plan of action. I'm talking about you executing your plan. That's what I have not seen. See, they can talk all day long, but if you don't have nobody running for the office, if you're not pushing your person 365, 7 days a week, you can wrap your plan up and throw it in the trash. See, this is what people like to do. They like to sit up and talk and be on the internet all day, but they don't do the groundwork. And when it comes to voting, you better make sure your plan, you got a 50 state plan that includes you going city to city in all 50 states. And you better work that ground. Okay? You know what, John, I see what you're saying about Trump, but Trump ain't doing nothing for nobody. He hasn't done any. Trump is trying not to go to prison. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. Everybody who's been around Trump has been in prison and they let him out for some bogus reasons. Like he too old to be in prison. Didn't he commit the crime? Right is right and wrong is wrong. If everybody else can go, Roger Stone can take his hips to prison and stay there. But no, he's out. See, Trump pardoned all of his buddies who helped him commit a crime. According to the United States, if we're going to talk about law and being law abiding, well, then it better go across the board. We don't do respect of persons over here. You already know how we feel about that, John, and you feel the same way too. I know how you feel. Don't nobody get no pass. Nobody gets a pass. Nobody. But back to this African American and African American people. Let me say this and let me say this real good. No African agenda was going to be pushed through before anybody got elected anyway, because you don't have a Senate. So, as I said before, when people came out talking and talking and talking, they be talking real good, but they ain't putting that work in. And I don't want to hear about what you held a conference and da 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 da. You ain't moved a bit of legislation up there to the White House to be brought to the floor, the House or the Senate floor. That would be advantageous for African American people to pass it through. Now, and saying that, let me be real clear. The House already passed something to do a study on reparations. The Senate didn't even take it up and bring it to the floor. Mitch McConnell is the majority leader of the Senate. He has not taken that up, just like he didn't take that HEROES Act up, just like it's over 400 bills that he has not brought to that floor, including the ones on police reform. So when people come out here talking, again, I'm reading policy and legislations and I'm watching the way people have been moving. Oh, you could say anything you want to say, but let the record show. You right, John. I already know how you feel about this, John. Don't nobody get no pass. That's why I said, people see what you wrote, but I already know I already know how you roll for real. You like ain't nobody getting no pass. The USA has been done with Trump. Right, Mac. And that's where it has been. It has been with the Republicans having control of that Senate. Remember, it takes the House and the Senate to pass a bill. The Republicans, and people can act like they naive, sleep, comatose if they want to, have been unwilling to move anything forward that's advantageous for African American people. And that's just the fact. Let the record show. Go back and pull up the bills and read them. All of them. Yeah. Go back and see who voted no on what. The record is there. Go to US Gov and look at their record. Go to house.gov, look at the record. Go to senate.gov and look at the record and look at the bills. The ones that was drafted by senators and House reps that were heard but nobody wanted to do anything with. That was introduced, but nobody want to take it up and do nothing with them. Not only that, go back and look at the bills that passed the House that didn't, like I said, what, over 400 plus bills dead in the Senate that were advantageous for people and African American people, for U.S. citizens. Hey, Dre Day, how you doing? So I'll have to say that again for because I hear a lot of heresy in the atmosphere. And so when I hear people say negotiate for the vote, hold the vote, I understand what they mean, but it seems a bit disingenuous to me when you ain't done no work 365 days a year for the last 4 years. I have yet to see anybody that I heard say hold the vote in my state, Michigan, going city to city. Moving a single piece of nothing through here. Nor have I seen them do that. I haven't seen them do that. Not only that, I haven't seen them do any trainings city to city, state to state. That's the way organization goes. Yeah. That's called being organized. That's called community organizing. You don't just show up when it's time for you to push your little agenda through. You better be doing the groundwork 365 days a year, and not just in your little area, and not just on the internet. You better make your feet touch that ground, boots on the ground, and your feet touch that floor. Yeah, you got to touch down. That means you got to humble yourself, get up off your, and go out there and be about that business. So, again, for the people, I'm on my African American rant right now, who've been out there saying, y'all need to know how to hold the line. Well, they ain't even at a line. Again, if you don't show up to the game, you lose by default. Voting is simply showing up to the game. So you don't lose by default. If you don't show up, you automatically lose. That's the way I view this. We got people out here talking, telling others not to vote, and they're going to cause somebody to lose what they could have by default. Let me be very clear. It's not a single African American person that can show me anything the Republican senators have done who's in charge of the Senate that have been advantageous for African American people. Not a single bit of legislation can they show me. I'm still waiting for all them talkers to produce some legislation, but they better get to reading. I guess they better have a readathon. But they should have started that a long time ago. So again, African American people, use your privilege to vote. Now, if you're from another ethnic group and you don't vote, you use your privilege to vote too. Because don't nobody want to hear nobody coming around. Excuse me. This is where people miss it at. You have a down ballot. So nobody can sit up there and tell me for my state that I should be withholding a vote. No, I should not. Proposal 2 is on our ballot. That deals with the police needing a warrant to search our electronics here. You think I'm going to sit back and not vote yes on requiring them to have a search warrant in order to get to anybody's electronic devices? No, I'm not. We have Supreme Court justices on the ballot here. You think I'm going to sit back at home and hold the vote and not decide who's going to be up there in Michigan presiding over cases? I don't think so. We have board reps members on the ballot. You think I'm going to sit back and not decide who's going to be on the board at these universities in the state of Michigan? You're confused and deceived. And you must think everybody's a little slow. Again, they're holding it up here. You said vote just not for Kanye West. You know what? If Kanye West was not just seeking attention and was as serious as he said he would have been working off 50 states too. Because serious candidates work off 50 states, as many cities as they can. And again, I did my rant for African American people because I've seen a lot of African American channels out here talking about some just hold the vote till we get what we want. You're not getting ready to get what you want because you didn't send a representative up there to represent you. How in the world do you think you're gonna put some legislation through and the Republican senators been pencil whooping your head to the white meat? They don't even have to use this. All Mitch McConnell have to do is say, no, we not we're not bringing a bill up. The bill not coming to the floor. Period. Now let's move on. Carry on. Like he been doing. And these people and some people think they got strategy. Strategy where? Strategy is getting your candidate in the seat. That's strategy. You say he just a distraction, Matt? Well, you know what? Excuse me, I'm drinking my vitamin water. I don't care how distracting he is trying to be. I wasn't voting for him no way. I saw him get $5 million out of that personal protection loan money, and he already got money. I'm not voting for no. No. Hey, Tanya Daniels, how you doing? How are you? Yeah, I'm just doing my voting rant right now. Again, I'm streaming live through YouTube. This is direct through YouTube. Zoom was having some issues. I was having some issues with Zoom, and I've had issues with them before. I will contact them tomorrow, and by tomorrow, those issues will be resolved because that's usually the way it goes when I contact Zoom. Oh, good. Okay, Mac, you said Republican senators only win because there are not a lot of black voters in states where they hold power. Don't they have some white independents or Democrats who are 100% Democrats or independents that could be running for these seats too? Well, or Asian or whoever, whatever. When I say they better work their strategy, that's part of working strategy. Yeah, Tanya, I was having some issues with Zoom, and I've had issues with Zoom before in the past. Sometimes Zoom will be out in a region and not be out in another region. So let's say they were out or having some issues here, and they were not having issues somewhere else. See that can happen where you log on into the website of software or platform providers, software as a service providers, or software as an enterprise providers, or software as anything provider, and you can log in and you can see outages are, and they will tell you, and you can kind of see if it's happening in your area. But like I said, my issue was with Zoom tonight. It was too, all that. The third time I said, nah, I'll just come straight through YouTube. And again, that's why I don't have my board up to share. Now I can grab my school board from over there and start flipping and showing stuff. But I like to have my tech gadgets. Oh yeah, Tanya, I will. I've had to text them before, do live chat with them before, and then they'll go through and do their apology, da 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 da, and then they'll go and get right on whatever they need to get on. Yeah, and not only that, they were a little laggy too. They were laggy and buffering. So on my end, I could see it. Like a lot of times, like I said, when I'm streaming live using Zoom, I can see the lag, I can see the buffering, um, I can see the delays, whereas you all can't. I can on the back end, I can see it before it even gets to yeah. Yeah. So again, I want to say this to African American people: make sure you vote to anybody, any ethnic group. Make sure you're voting. Um, but to the African American people who are twisted up in the wind on a black agenda, for those who are being carried about with every wind and wave of doctrine, we know a black agenda is mandatory. We know reparations is mandatory in the United States of America. We already know that. But the hypocrisy and the heresy comes in when you have people out here running their mouths all day on social media and they've not worked all 50 states to do any training or teaching. They want you to come to where they are. No, when you're serving people, you get up off of your backside and you go meet them where they're at. That's the way you serve. That's the way you do that. You don't take anything for granted and you leave nothing to chance. So, my issue with most is they should have been 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago, ground game together. Ground game together. All 50 states, city to city, state to state. They had the opportunity to do that, did not do that. I have not seen them do that. I've not seen them go state to state, train or teach. That's the way that goes. That's the way that go. You want to move agenda through, get up off your behind, hit all 50 states, go city to city. And you rotate your people. Because what it is work. It's a full-time job. And you have to be extremely organized. And you have to have backup for the backup for the backup. People don't want it, like I said, I heard a lot of people talking. And I ain't just talking about them whole man, people coming to see that. No, get up off your behind and hit all 50 states like long time ago. That's right, Letha. Vote, vote, vote. Now, in terms of, and again, like I said, this is my little rant. No black agenda is going to pass before people vote. That wasn't going to happen anyway. And for people to sit up there and tell you it was, they're either lying intentionally, armed, or being extremely disingenuous. Not when you look at who in the Senate. You better check voting records. See, they be playing too much. They out here playing games. Then they can't respond when I type something. And then they want to sit up there and act like they all knowing and they got all the answers. No, you don't. You ain't got half the answers. And then some of them are extremely disrespectful to the generation that came before. And I'll say this again. You ain't done half of what the generation that came before us that got civil rights did. You ain't done half the work they done. Then they want to sit up and say, well, they did a good job, but they should have did this. You ain't even done what they did. You ain't got no legislation on books or law at a federal level. None. Zero. For African American people. Zero is what they have. So a lot of them need to step back, humble themselves, and learn something. Because one thing I know about the generation that came before is old school, the ones with good sense and still remember, they will take your behind to school. Less than 5 minutes and you got it. Okay? So John, you said I already got your vote. I said it before. I've been saying it for years. People have been asking me to run for something since I was in my 20s. I said, excuse me, I'm a turn up. There would be no time where I will not be turning up for people. Because you're not going to sit up and tell me we got to give something. Well, you got to give a little of this and then we'll pass that through. No. No, I'm not. I'm getting what I came to get or I'm leaving. And I will vote no. Like that careless act, I would have voted no on that. I said that. And Mitch McConnell could have came out with that bully pulpit and Trump could have came out with that bully pulpit, but it wouldn't matter to me because all I would have had to do was run the documentation and let the record show. And you break it down and you tell people big business got billions of dollars. And what are you getting? $1,200? And everybody's not getting $1,200. Everybody ain't got $1,200. And the $1,200 was being taken if you owe back child support. And if the disqualifiers for getting the $1,200. If you make this amount, you can't get the $1,200. If you did, you can't get the $1,200. And the money was supposed to go to small businesses, and the small businesses never got it because big business was too busy getting the money. And they didn't have the terms right. And Steve Mnuchin was up there playing a game. And they gave them free reign, and they also wrote themselves raises into the bill. No, you come out there and you tell the people it's no money in this bill for the hospitals and we in a pandemic. It's no money in this bill for people and we in a pandemic. Mitch McConnell wrote sunscreen into the bill on page 470, which had nothing to do with an upper respiratory infection. That's in the bill. No. So no, John, they don't want me to run because I'll be up there turning up. Why did you vote no? Because this is foolishness. And I'm gonna tell you why. And then you run and tell people why. Just because they were in a panic and created so much pandemonium. And that's why people still angry to this day. As I mentioned when we were going through the bill months back, a moratorium on credit should have been in the first bill. That means you freeze everybody's credit score so it's not going up or down amid this pandemic. Why? Because people might lose their house. People might not be able to pay their car note on time, whatever. You got to go through and hit so the credit bureaus cannot get away. I said they let the credit bureaus get away, okay? You go through and you put a moratorium on evictions. Not only evictions, foreclosures. Not only foreclosures, you work the gamut. You go through and say, look, insurance too, car insurance. You got to go through and hit every area that affects and impact people. They didn't do that in that bill, and they could have. They didn't do it. Then at $100 additional dollars they gave for people who weren't unemployed was not good enough. They only wrote it up in there until July, end of July. Now, anybody with good sense would say we don't know how long this pandemic is going to last. So the minimum amount of time is a year. That's our minimum. We're going to at least extend that out to a year. They didn't do it. They was too busy giving big businesses tax breaks. Billions of dollars right off the back. If you keep your staff, you get to write this off, write that off. Social Security income. We're going to give you break on that, break on this, break on that. Then if you do this, guess what? You don't even got to pay the loan back. What type of mess is that? Oh, you have to let the record show, Letha. And I have to say it because, we sat up there within the first few lines of the bill. I said, this is a mess. Again, unfortunately, when you don't hold your elected official feet to the fire, you get the shaft. They run the okie doke on you all day, every day. They'll sit up there and legislate you under a table and come out and lie to your face and say it's unprecedented. And people didn't get help. The Democrats, like I said, was weak. And they folded and they gave, and they should not have. They shouldn't have done it. And Bernie Sanders voted yes for that too. He was one of the loudest voices up there. He should have continued to raise Holy Cane until they got that $2,000 like they wanted going to everybody's house. They should have went in there, and because I knew, flashback to when after it passed, what did I say? I said Mitch McConnell got what he wanted because he was sponsor of that Careless Act. I said he not going to play ball no more. Now he ain't going to care what y'all do. He not coming back to the table to negotiate with you. You done already gave him what he wanted. And all he wanted was to protect big business. Now he walked away and washed his hands. Now, we in October. Did they get anything else through? Other than that additional that didn't go to people? Have they gotten any other thing through the Senate? No. That's why I wouldn't have played no game with Mitch McConnell. And I would have told him, listen, who you think you playing with, you won't be the one drafting nothing. No deal. And that's when you go in and you tell your team, hold the line. I'm going to teach you how to hold the line today. That means everybody's voting no. You vote yes, that's your seat. And I'm going to tell you why it's your seat, because there wasn't nothing in there for people but $600. I said that on the onset. $600 additional weekly on top of unemployment insurance. That's it. And that didn't last a year. They are like they don't know how to hold the line. Right, John. Housing, mortgages, you want to do that. You want to protect people's credit. You want to make sure the hospitals got everything that they needed. You want to make sure that everybody had universal health care for if they couldn't go to work. So they should have worked that health care too. And I said that health care thing was a game. They didn't give enough money for health care. This is a medical emergency. This is a medical pandemic. This is a health pandemic. This is a medical pandemic. You want to protect housing. You want to protect people's quality of life in terms of being able to get food. You want to protect the states that issue out the money to people. It's just a lot that was in that Careless Act, and I'm going to continue to call it the Careless Act. That was not for people. It was nothing in place to protect people. And they ran out and called it unprecedented. And here we are, October, rolling into November, and some people ain't even got the first check. They still waiting, right? Mm. Yeah, homeowners, renters, credit scores, cars, insurance, food, utilities. So, again, if I was up there, I already know I would be turned up. I would have been a turn up. They would be saying you out of order, and I say you out of order, you out of order, you out of order, and you out of order. Everybody up here out of order. If it's not for the people, everybody out of order. Yeah, food, shelter, clothes, basic necessities. They could have put something in there for broadband technology, like they should have. That's one thing I did appreciate about President Obama. He was for new neutrality, a open internet, everybody having access to an open internet, and companies not slowing down people's speed and capping them in terms of their data, playing that game. Yep. So, again, with that being said, what is it, over an hour? Enough talking, everyone, without having my manipulatives in the background. Thank you all for streaming. I will be back tomorrow, and we will go over these updates. Now, what I need to do for this is drop an icon in here and put my disclaimer. This is just me freestyling and free flowing tonight. Thank you all for listening to this freestyle free flow tonight. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you too, John. Bye, everybody. Good night. I'm going to update and drop that app below, change icon, and do all that other fancy stuff in the description. Thank y'all all for streaming. Bye-bye, everybody. Pleasant night. And remember to vote.